Hello and welcome to the FCA Lacrosse MIAA Game of the Week. It is the Calvert Hall Cardinals and their number 1 seed playing the St. Paul's Crusaders in number 2. Thanks for joining us here at Calvert Hall. I'm Booker Corrigan alongside longtime BL coach Bob Shriver. Bob, we have 1 and 2, but at the bottom of the MIAA, there is a dogfight between teams with proud traditions who are trying to just make the postseason. What have you noticed?
Number 3, St. Mary's probably is pretty good to be in the playoffs, but between McDonough, Boys Latin, Loyola, and Gilman, there's a dogfight for those last 3 playoff spots, and these next 3 league dates will be very important to those squads.
And we're going to be bringing some great games to you. Today, the Crusaders come in. They're number 2 in the league. Who do you like as stars for the Crucies?
When we did the St. Paul's Gilman game a couple weeks ago, Troy Bartholomew, number 9 senior attackman, scored 4 goals and had an assist. He's going to be the focus of, I believe, the Calvert Hall defense. At the defensive end and at the midfield defensive end with his long pole is number 99, Mason Woodward, senior. He's a tremendous player, as good with his stick as he is covering people, and he'll try to influence this game in the middle of the field and at close defense.
And these Calvert Hall Cardinals might just be the best team in the country. Give us 2 guys to keep an eye out for.
Cole Herbert, number 1's been playing first midfield since he was a freshman. He's just a junior, already headed to North Carolina. And he's one of these rare guys who can get to the goal, but he's a really good assist man. Number 10, his running mate, Grant Mitchell at midfield. He was a first-team All-Metro last year, senior. He and his twin brothers are going to Ohio State. Grant Mitchell is big and powerful and can get to the goal on anybody.
It's been a while since Bob and I have been in the booth together. We'll be back with Faceoff right after this. On Saturday, June 1st, the Baltimore 10 Miler will be live on WMAR2 News. It is always the region's best 10-mile race that starts and finishes right at the Maryland Zoo in Baltimore. We're known for fantastic premiums, a runner-friendly course, and that zany finish line beach party featuring a Jimmy Buffett band. The B10 is an exciting and fun 10-mile race that will be the highlight of your 2019. You're going to be proud of what you can accomplish. Go to Baltimore10miler.com and register today.
It's time to go Toyota. With a great selection of rugged 4-wheel drive and year-round all-wheel drive vehicles, including the completely redesigned adventure-ready RAV4, or any of these 9 models built to help you feel more secure no matter what the weather brings. Plus, advanced safety features come standard on most models. Learn more and shop deals on buyatoyota.com. See your Toyota dealer, your 4-wheel and all-wheel drive specialist. Toyota, let's go places.
The Fellowship of Christian Athletes engages their coaches and athletes to grow their faith through sport. Make sure you investigate the amazing camp at Lebanon Valley College this July. The FCA has camps, clinics, huddles, teams. Learn more about the Fellowship of Christian Athletes by going to fcalax.com.
August Getz came from Germany, bought a chewing gum company. World War II happened, no more chicken. Began making caramels filled with creams, aka bullseyes. Bright idea. Stretch a caramel cream into a stick and call it cowtails. Tails like fairy tales. Put them in cups, became #1 selling 25-cent item. Added flavors. Started making minis, added different pack types, still family owned, loved for generations by generations. GetSome.com.
Welcome to Hunt Country Jewelers, a world of fine gemstones of all colors and award-winning designs, where each piece is handmade in our workshop. From original jewelry and gemstone expertise to commissioning a new piece or a fun evening at our gemology detective events, we invite you to our world full of intricacies and delights, where beauty comes in all price ranges.
We are live at Kelly Field on the campus of Calvert Hall, number 1 against number 2. Booker Corrigan, Bob Shriver bringing it to you as the teams get ready for their face-off. Bob, how great an occasion is it to get number 1 against number 2 again and again?
They're playing for first place. Calvert Hall at 7-0. St. Paul's nipping at their heels at 6-1. The winner of this game will go to first place, obviously, because if it happens to be St. Paul's, and they would have the same record, but because of their head-to-head victory, if that should happen, they would move ahead of Calvert Hall.
And it's great to hear you mention those tiebreakers. We talked about it a little bit in the open, and we'll get to it as things proceed along today. But there is a dogfight in which the tiebreakers may come into play, and we are getting set for the opening face-off. Keegan Tracy, number 15 for St. Paul's, is going to take the opening draw, and, of course, Chris Catone for Calvert Hall.
St. Paul's is down both their main face-off guys today. Frank Habney, a defensive midfielder with a pole. LSM handles a lot of face-offs. He's been out for a couple weeks, and Dylan Croft, who handled the bulk of the duties against Gilman a couple weeks ago, broke his wrist just recently, so he's out. So Keegan is now their third option at the face-off stripe, and that will be a big storyline today as we get through this game.
Keegan Tracy, once again, willing to do whatever it takes to help his team move on and see success. And Keek scraps for it. And Catone comes away with it, getting everything he can from Jackson Myers, and Calvert Hall will have the first possession. Truett Sunderland, number 3, just a freshman starting on attack. This is Jack Sawyer. Gets it up. Ethan Long, number 22, and it looks like St. Paul's has tipped their hand a little bit. They're going to shut off your man, Cole Herbert.
And that way, if they shut Herbert off, they prevent him, hopefully, from getting the ball, and then they can put Mason Woodward, number 99, on their most probably dynamic overall midi, and that's Grant Mitchell, number 10.
This is Sawyer. Sawyer driving hard, righty across the top. No slide. And now they're going to use a pick, but a great takeaway. Check it out. Hard hit.
Could have been a penalty.
Yep.
Referees typically will look for anything up in the face area as being an infraction. And now this is Calvert Hall at its very best, riding like crazy. St. Paul's has to get this ball across the midline in 2 seconds. He needs to chuck this, otherwise it's going to be a turnover.
A failure to advance. You have 20 seconds to get it out of your defensive end, and there's a clear indication of how impressive Calvert Hall can be with their ride. Here's Sunderland.
If Herbert's getting shut off, you saw that right at the right before they turn the ball over. Herbert will be used as a pick man. He'll go and pick the ball. He'll pick away from the ball.
And Sunderland
and he doesn't need to do anything for Sunderland on that play.
Sunderland and just a clear out quicking by the freshman. Here's a replay. Quick step.
He likes this matchup. He got a shorty covering him. He's a natural attackman, of course, and he just beat him to above the goal line extended, got his hands extended, and was able to throw that around goaltender Grant.
Jamie Grant has played impressive. We got Dan Aburn from Inside Lacrosse as our third member of the booth. Dan, what'd you pick up there?
Well, that play just looked like a Joey Epstein score right there. You know, the freshman from Johns Hopkins. People rave about his low-angle scoring ability, and here's a freshman on a high school team doing the same thing. Wow, really impressive right there.
That's great for SP. Anytime they can win a face-off without having to scrum for it is a huge advantage for them, just because of the inexperience of Keegan Tracy being their third option at the X.
Here is the St. Paul's offense. Number 21, Logan Santos. Get used to hearing his name. Rory Jones, number 2, and 22, Seth Higgins. Round out the offensive midfield for the Crusaders.
Excuse me, Seth Higgins gets the pole. He's a very talented lefty. Logan Santos is getting a shorty, and he's got speed, tremendous speed. I'm sure they will look, if they're going to go to the goal, they'd love to have Logan against a shorty.
Higgins, diagonal pass, high and wide, and it'll be Calvert Hall ball to clear as Parker Bird goes over to pick it up.
And polling Higgins was effective that time. Number 37, Sean Barwick, Calvert Hall's very talented long stick midi, did a good job, lifted on Higgins. Higgins threw the ball over Jones's head out of bounds.
Connor Mitchell on the clear, and Calvert Hall has it back on the offensive end. Sunderland makes a nice handle. He's going to be guarded today by Timothy Burdett. But when Calvert Hall can get that switch, Sunderland will gladly take the short stick. This is Josh Weber. Danny Kelly shot just wide.
Calvert Hall's second group, they're getting him in the game right away. That's Weber, Connor Mitchell. And yeah, Connor Mitchell's number 12, the lefty. And Colin Stewart, number 0. That's Calvert Hall's second group. And they don't really take a back seat to their first group. They're equally as talented.
No, they don't.
Good feed by Sutherland to the aforementioned Colin Stewart, who just makes a very simple, subtle cut. St. Paul's guilty of ball watching.
Here's the
Stewart.
replay.
He just sneaking underneath the defenseman. St. Paul's actually appeared to be in a zone at that time because 22 just lets him go. Watch if we can see this again. 22 lets Stewart cut, and if they were in a zone, the inside guy for St. Paul's defense at that point did not pick the cutter up, which he should have done. Good play by the Cardinals. This is definitely not the start that St. Paul's wanted. They've only had one possession. Calvert Hall's on 2 possessions. They turned it over on a clear, and they're got a 2-0 lead, and they come right back with this first group, and they roll number 9 in with them, Justin Mintzer, and he actually goes behind the goal against a shorty. Great backup.
Great backup, and he's going to make them pay. And with 8 minutes left in the first, Crusaders might need a timeout. Let's look at the replay. This is just a nice high school lacrosse effort by everybody.
Well, 2 things, Booker, I feel very strongly about. A lost art in the game of lacrosse is backing up the goal here. Sunderland in the right spot. He makes a great play backing up the goal, and as a result, St. Paul's, everybody playing defense for St. Paul's has their head on a swivel. The guy covering Sutherland turns to think the ball's going out of bounds. Well, the ball was in Sutherland's stick. He gets to the front of the goal, touchdown.
And then he slipped, too.
Here's Woodward.
Woodward's going to take it to the cage. Shot knocked away by Jackson Marshall. Flags a flying, and it's going to be a foul on Calvert Hall.
Great play by Woodward. He's an outstanding lacrosse player. With his pole, he got to the goal. He got pushed, flag down. St. Paul's with a free possession.
Kind of just what the doctor had ordered, right, for St. Paul's. They trying to not let things get away too fast. Here's Santos coming in out of the box. Sheehan, number 23, impressed by his play. Milani. Inside feed shot, handled Jackson Marshall, not up in here. And
Two
Calvert
big
Hall
saves
comes away.
by Marshall early in this contest. Good cut, St. Paul's number 23, Peter Sheehan, coming across the front of the goal. Great cut, good feed, good shot, but a better save.
Yep, Jackson Marshall has earned his stripes this year in the cage for Calvert Hall. Calvert Hall man and down.
St. Paul's extra man offense, I think, scored 4 goals in that Gilman game. We know they scored 3. Bartholomew had a big number 9 standing up here in the middle. They would love to get him with his hands free anywhere around the goal.
St. Paul starts in a circle, working around this is Bartholomew. Get it behind Milani. Now it's on the left wing.
They're going to rotate.
Inside shot, no dice.
Nice look by Jones, feeding the inside to the left-hander Higgins. He missed the goal.
6 seconds to operate with Bartholomew Sheehan behind. Bartholomew now pressured, gets it up top. Pump fake by Tyler Harry, and now a lob across the top. Milani likes what he sees. Jackson Marshall saw it the whole way, ball high in the air, and he just nudged him. I didn't know that was a foul.
He was out of the crease. He was fair game.
Nice quick pass, and here's Sasaki. That'll draw some cheers from the crowd. Dan, how's it sound down there?
It's pretty lively, especially after that play right there. A little bit of turf monster, broken ankles, whatever you want to call it.
Putting him on ice skates. Connor Mitchell comes in across the top. He and Colin Stewart.
Off now. This is advantage offense. Anytime you shut somebody off, it means you're playing defense 5-on-5, which spreads all slides out. Field's a little bit more open, and there is Connor Mitchell with his left hand, and a good ground ball by number 6 for the Crusaders.
And now the Crusaders have a fast break, 4-on-3. Bartholomew, shot! Never really got there, and it's going to be backed up by Marshall.
Well, Calvert Hall's showing that they can be equally as effective at both ends of this field so far in this game. It's a nice play by the defense there, blocking that shot. Goaltender Marshall has made 3 quality saves so far and kept St. Paul's off the scoreboard.
Ethan Long, number 22 for the Cardinals. Takes a little shove, pushes it back. Daniel Kelly, far side now. Mitchell rolls back, doesn't get what he likes. Mitchell, one of those guys who was an absolute standout in that Under Armour underclass callback game for the Baltimore team. Shot goal, low to low. Daniel Kelly feeling it.
We mentioned Cole Herbert in our pregame today, and the comment was he's equally adept at going to the goal, but he will absolutely not hesitate to throw the ball to the open man. He did that very nicely there. Just dumped it down to Kelly. Step down from 10 yards.
Kelly is not scared to shoot that. He's not scared to toe drag, face dodge, roll dodge. The 5 Ds of dodging. Jackson Marshall, goaltender for Calvert Hall. He has been perfect so far as Catone wins it forward, and we got trouble now. And there is trouble with a capital T. Chris Catone makes it 5-0 Calvert Hall.
Great play by Catone. This is the first time I've seen him get to the hole off of face-off, and it would appear that he's more, he's one of those rare face-off guys that faces off right-handed, but it looks like he's a natural lefty. So many teams allow a pole or a face-off guy to come right down the gut. They don't slide to him. Catone gets to about 8 yards and puts that thing in a really nice spot. So far, St. Paul's goalie, you have to feel for
Jamie Grant
a little bit. He hasn't been getting too much help, and now they turn it over again with an illegal procedure.
And again, Bob, you alluded to St. Paul's being a little bit diminished in their troops as far as face-off guys.
Very much so. And look, this game is 5-0, and Calvert Hall's been incredibly efficient on offense. But let's not forget that St. Paul's had 3 really quality looks at the goal off of 2 different sets, if you will. So they could just as easily have a couple in the hopper here to make this game be a little closer. But it is quickly getting away from them.
Mitchell shot outside. Grant gobbles that. Crusaders now looking to clear. Pass into a little bit of traffic, but handled well. And now there's more pressure in the middle of the field for the Crusaders.
This is Chismar. He's one tough kid, I'll tell you that. But he's just trying to do a little bit too much there. Great play by Calvert Hall. Incredible pressure in the middle of the field, putting the ball on the ground, and another tally. Jack Sawyer, who's the beneficiary of this great ride at the other end of the field. I don't know, Chad, if you can back this up to this ride. They've already picked it up, and they're off to the races, the Cardinals are. Grant is under siege right now.
St. Paul's clearly in a tough spot, but if you're going to go down, you might as well go down early. First quarter brought to you by your friends at the Valley Inn. Make sure you stop in the Valley Inn anytime. It's a good time to get something to eat, or Uber if you're coming at night. Catone pulls it back, and Calvert Hall imposing their will.
Catone's had a great year facing off for the Cardinals. Actually, that's not, was that Catone? He did come out. I apologize. Yeah. He's really had a quality year in any of those contests where he's faced what looks like a really quality opponent for him. He's handled his part of the face-off X very well. And he's got good wing guys.
Yep.
Great wing guys. Talked about
some of the
Suzuki,
best athletes
right?
in the country.
Sasaki, excuse me. That's a zone. It looks like Calvert Hall was playing. I mean, St. Paul's was playing zone there.
Yep.
Yeah, they're playing what we might call a 3. Oh my Lord.
Daniel Kelly. Goodness.
Well, the Cardinals have got an answer for everything St. Paul's has tried to throw at them. And 7 goals in the less than 10 minutes into this game. That is what you might call efficiency.
You see him stinging that corner. Just absolutely ripping it. Bob, 7-0. If you're the head coach of St. Paul's, which I understand is a position you've never been in, what are you telling your guys right now?
One at a time. There's no such thing as a 7-goal goal, right? A 7-point goal. So you've just got to keep the course. There's an incredibly large amount of time left in this game. It clearly is going to be a colossal uphill battle, given the fact that they're not going to win many faceoffs. But what Coach Whitty's telling his guys is that, listen, what we need to do is win the next possession. Let's win the next ground ball. Yep. Let's just keep playing the game, and we'll see what happens as we continue forward. You know, what he wants, he wants his kids to make sure that they leave this game with some modicum of success. And the only way you get success is you buckle it up a little tighter, tie those shoelaces up a little tighter, and, get after it.
Win a ground ball.
Win the next ground ball.
Pass.
Exactly. One play at a time.
And yeah, just listening to that St. Paul's huddle, Bob was right. I won't describe the language in detail, but yes, he got the same point across.
Our man Dan Aburn from Inside Lacrosse doing our sideline work all year. Here is Jack Sawyer, another guy who truly impressed in that Under Armour underclass callback game. That callback game is the best underclass lacrosse you'll see in one region at any time. They have them at every tryout. Go to underarmourlacrosse.com to learn more. And there's an inside play. Nice stop by Granter. He forced them to shoot wide.
Josh Weber just went on a run there. We've seen him play a couple times this year. He's got tremendous speed, and more often than not, he runs by people rather easily.
Speaking of running by people, there's Jack Sawyer with the speed.
I would say the other issue is, let's go to the Calvert Hall sideline. Here they're playing a game. They've got a great lead, and it's not even the end of the first quarter. Coach Kelly, he doesn't want to ruin any momentum. There's his son scoring his third goal, making it look incredibly easy, but watch the placement of this shot.
And watch how he backs out of the crease, too, before he gets this ball. Here's Weber sweeping across, and Daniel Kelly just takes 4 steps back.
And sorry, Boog, but the shot's unsavable. It's hip high, far post, and for any goalie, they will tell you that that's the hardest save to make.
Yeah.
As a goaltender, their stick's up in the air. He has to decide, should I flip my stick in front of my face and try to get down to that ball off my hip?
Over the top,
or do I go underneath and try to get to it? Both are really hard to do.
Mason Woodward now facing off for St. Paul's. Nice job by Tyler Dunn. One of those guys who credits Aiden Fritz with doing an amazing job up and down on both sides of the field. Aiden Fritz, number 16. A star in the making. He's got a big playoff run ahead of him.
Coach Kelly's telling him he wants one shot. It looked like that was his signal from the sideline. 64 seconds left. Basically, the shot clock and the game clock are almost perfectly timed. They can run this right to the end of the first quarter, take the last shot, and hope that they finish the quarter at 9-0.
We don't. Cole Herbert chilling a little bit. He's guarded by Gabe Lichtenstein. Senior number 7 for St. Paul's, as we're now at the 30-second mark.
He'll want to go to the goal at about the 18-second mark. Here he goes.
Nice little right-to-right split dodge. Mamba play, shot, goal. Daniel Kelly, 4th goal of the quarter.
Herbert's second assist. Not to keep beating the same drum, but we talked about Herbert willing to throw the ball to the open guy. That's a mumbo play, which means that the wing midfielder came in and sealed Daniel Kelly's man off. He just popped out there to get a step down 10-yarder, 8-yarder.
And they still have 14 seconds left. They can make it 10-0. Face-off win. Low worm burner shot, pinballs, and now that will do it. And Jackson Marshall pulls it off, and we're at the end of the first quarter. St. Paul's uphill battle the rest of the way.
It's time to go. Toyota, with the best resale value of any brand, again for the 3rd year in a row.
Because when it comes to holding value, nobody does it better than Toyota. In fact, Toyota has 3 of the top 10 ranked by KBB.com for 2019, including Tacoma at #1. So whether you're searching for America's favorite car, SUV, or adventure-ready truck, this is where you want to shop. Go reliable, go Toyota, and let's go places.
We have come a long way. All the amazing advancements in medicine. And while science has become better at treating people, we can't ever forget the importance of how we simply treat people. At MedStar Health, we believe it doesn't take a brain surgeon to get the best way to talk to a doctor isn't always in person. And that inside every human body lives a human being. The best of our minds, the best of our hearts. MedStar Health. It's how we treat people.
Corrigan Sports Enterprises is a full-service sports marketing and event management company. Every detail from marketing, public relations, logistics, and cleanup, Corrigan Sports Enterprises handles events from conception to fruition. The premier lacrosse and field hockey recruiting tournaments and high-profile running events. Corrigan Sports Enterprises, bringing your dreams to life.
Kelly & Associates Insurance Group and Kelly Payroll helps employers and employees save time, money, and hassle in navigating the intricacies of insurance, benefits, payroll, and workforce challenges. Kelly & Associates Insurance Group and Kelly Payroll is pleased to support CSE TV and the Game of the Week. Visit kellyway.com to put their people, technology, and services to work for you.
Second quarter set to go. Booker Corrigan, Bob Shriver, and Dan Aburn bringing you Calvert Hall #1 against St. Paul's #2, and so far it has been all #1. Calvert Hall offense. They've actually shot wide a couple times too, Bob. Interesting turn of events as we thought. And St. Paul's still at 3 quarters with which to find a way to get to 10.
Yeah, Book, listening to St. Paul's huddle, the message was pretty simple. Just pretend that the score is 0-0 and continue to compete, which is pretty much about all you can say, being down 9-0 after the first quarter.
This is Connor Mitchell, left-handed, throws back for Kelly. Have some. Oh, nice save by Jamie Grant. He kind of needed that one.
Well, I don't know what the shots are in that first quarter, Booker, but I think it's safe to say Calvert Hall took at least 15, maybe 17 or 18 shots. That's a crazy number, quite honestly, at the high school level.
Great clear right there by Mason Woodward, and you can tell St. Paul's is celebrating every little victory. Shot. Don't know if that was Post Malone who growled.
Now, this is only the 3rd time they've been on offense. Let's see if St. Paul's can't generate something here. Start to let this game settle down a little bit, as Dan just alluded to. All they want to do is think that it's zip on that scoreboard and play it out from here.
Crusaders in dark blue, Calvert Hall home whites. This is Jones, a little throwback to Santos. Nice man ball by Santos. St. Paul's trying to come up with it. Barthelme does and has a little bit of a step, moves it. Here's Harry. Diagonal pass, shot low, just wide.
Good look by Harry. Threw that ball through the defense. They had a nice unsettled after Barthelme picked that ground ball up in traffic. Calvert Hall for a timeout. Coach Kelly didn't like what he was seeing on defense there.
Yeah. Interesting turn of events right there. You see him take it.
You know, Bob, I asked our sideline statisticians what the shot discrepancy was. It was 19-5. You know, I was at Hopkins.
No, thought maybe we need to get Jamie Grant up here and ask him what he thought it was.
Jamie Grant's the goalie for St. Paul's, for those of you who haven't been following that closely.
And he is a terrific player, terrific.
He
Headed
played
to
amazing.
Marquette, just a junior. He had a great game against Gilman 2 weeks ago that we did. Part of St. Paul's building a nice 6-1 record in the A Conference and put themselves in a position to play this game for #1 in the conference. Well, it's safe to say that St. Paul's is going to probably not be in a position to declare themselves #1 after this.
We shall see. Harry shoulders in, gets it behind. This is Sheehan. Little fake flip.
Lefty.
This is Higgins. Gets inside. Shot, goal. Seth Higgins. Ladies and gentlemen, the Crusaders are on the board.
Well, we're going to do what Coach Whitty wants to do, and we're going to do this game as if it was 0-0. St. Paul's is now winning this game 1-0. Higgins, strong lefty. He stays in the middle of the field, which is obviously it gives him both sides of the goal to shoot at. Really nice play. Calvert Hall, a little late sliding. Barwick had stepped away from Higgins to support the ball coming around the other way, and then he wasn't supported properly in the middle of the field. Goal for Higgins. It's 1-0 St. Paul's.
St. Paul, I don't want you to throw our viewers off, but ever since the 9-0 game, it is 1-0.
Viewers can see the scoreboard on the TV.
Catone pushes it forward. This is Daniel Kelly. Makes a hard catch look easy. Something he probably learned.
The crew.
From Aiden Fritz.
We have a stone cold fast break. He held on to that ball a little bit too long. He really should have thrown that ball. Barthelme's guilty of not throwing that ball to the correct guy. He should have thrown that ball through to the lefty, who would have had a very easy shot.
And on top of that, they shoot wide, and Calvert Hall gets possession.
St. Paul's will jump into their 10-man ride. Ball.
Mason Woodward steals it away. Shoots wide. St. Paul's imposing their will a little bit, but you still, in their position, want to cash something in.
This is their 10-man ride. It's been very effective. They're giving Calvert Hall a teeny dose of their own medicine. Calvert Hall loves to do the 10-man ride. There's Woodward again, making a play in the middle of the field. Great ground ball.
He makes enough of a play to give Jack Sawyer a run at the goal, who pulls it out. And now it's Sunderland. Cole Herbert's swim move. And now it's Sunderland coming around from behind. Defender falls. Shot. Goal, Sunderland. And I've noticed Bob St. Paul's has slipped or fallen down a number of times in this
Well,
early
it's because
going.
they're chasing so much. Herbert really gets this play started because he gets the St. Paul's defense moving, and they effectively, he threw that ball to Sawyer over to Sunderland, and he's coming around on this left side. He's got a little space. He stopped, and he threaded that needle inside Grant, which is extremely hard to do. All goalies, first thing they're asked to do is cover the post as somebody's coming around from behind the goal.
Number 37, Sean Barwick on the wing for the Cardinals. As the ball goes down, Logan Santos goes down for it, and it's going to be Calvert Hall possession.
Coach Kelly is running in his third midfield line that we've seen today. Mick Kelly.
Olin Hoffman, number 50.
No, it's hard for me to say, obviously.
This is Kelly. Shot, goal. Calvert Hall. Saucy Jack Sawyer.
Calvert Hall showing just tremendous ball movement. They're willing to throw the ball to the open guy. Sawyer cuts into the crease, and that wasn't very effective right then, covering somebody off the ball. He let Sawyer get into a good spot. Kelly found him. And there's Jamie Grant looking at somebody standing with a ball in his stick at about 3 or 4 yards from him, and that's not fair. They're not helping the goalie too much today.
Faceoff win that time by Tyler Dunn.
There's a two-headed monster for Calvert Hall. Catoni and Dunn, both pretty good at it. St. Paul's going back to their zone. They'll kind of, there's Woodward again, who 25 for St. Paul's, Will Burdett. What he does is he starts, when the ball's out top, he starts in the crease, and as it goes behind, he goes back and plays the ball by himself, and then the top defenseman, in this case it's Mason Woodward, will come down and fill the vacated spot on the crease that Burdett vacated.
Shot by number 12, Connor Mitchell.
And now watch. Burdett will sneak behind. Nope, the ball did not go behind. Good check. Nice trail check by Woodward that time.
Mason Woodward, his mom Allison, a phenomenal athlete in her Roanoke college days, as was number 15, Keegan Tracy's father, Donnie Tracy, first team All-American midfielder for the Roanoke Maroons. Feed up top, collected, gathered. Shot just wide by Weber.
Well, if you're going to play zone defense, one thing you don't want to do is allow somebody to run by you, because now the defense has to start rotating, and that puts them clearly at a disadvantage.
Sunderland up on the wing. This is Sawyer. Now Weber, diagonal. Mitchell, toe drag. Back to Sunderland. Hard diagonal feed, unable to be handled. And some great lumber by Mason Woodward, and a great ground ball pickup by Brendan Knott. And for that, he gets triple teamed by Calvert Hall. Kid picks up an amazing ground ball, and he ends up with a triple team. Didn't see that as a foul, although it looked awkward.
It's a good hit. Good, clean hit.
It is a contact sport. Knott again, and now he's going to get the long stick on him. Nice play. Here he is, Knott. Shot, goal! Brendan Knott, the senior for St. Paul's, doubles their total scoring output on the day.
Great play. What a scrappy goal. Knott just keeps coming. Nobody elects to slide to him. He's at the 10-yard line, which means it's a 10-yard shot. Actually, it's a little bit better than that. It's about a 7-8-yard shot, and he buries it low and away. St. Paul's has knotted this second quarter at 2.
And they're definitely competing more.
They're making plays, but it seems like, Dan, every time they make a play, they turn around and there's 3 Calvert Hall guys around them. The swarm is impressive by Calvert Hall.
Yeah, well, I think on that last play in particular, St. Paul's had been on defense for felt like about a minute, so maybe a little gassed in that regard. Ooh.
Barwick with a little sky whammy, faked a point man, and instead of throwing that ball to the point man, he faked the point defenseman off him, and he had his hands free, just missed the goal. Back to the zone.
Grant Mitchell down, Danny Kelly, now Sunderland behind.
The one guy you do not want to have his hands free in a zone defense would be number 45, Daniel Kelly.
Inside shot, goal.
Herbert's third assist. We feel good about the pregame when we said Herbert is an effective feeder from the midfield position, and this is his third assist. Great look inside. Who's that? Sawyer. Sawyer just finding the seam. Herbert found him. Sawyer a little bit fortunate there. He didn't come to the ball as well as he probably should have. He's got his feet planted, but St. Paul's defense a little late getting there.
You know, it's funny, Bob. Dave Huntley passed away more than a year ago, and you can still feel some of that influence that he may have had, some of that teaching abilities that he had for Calvert Hall. Procedural violation. Keegan Tracy will take the face-off win.
Calvert Hall's second violation. The next one would give St. Paul's, if they have one, would give St. Paul's a 30-second extra man offense, which I can tell you that they would really like. Anything.
Yep.
Anything where they get an opportunity to play offense. One thing St. Paul's, we've watched them play a couple times this year, Booker. One thing they love to do is run. And we saw number 6 just a second ago for St. Paul's, Brendan Knott, score a goal.
And Brendan Lichtenstein, number 7, is the guy who picked up that ball. Here's Barthelme, shoulder down. Outside shot goes high. Tyler Harry's had a couple shots today. He's an attackman, runs a lot of midfield, runs a lot of invert. Here's Sheehan behind. Sheehan lobs it up top, and that
ball might have gotten tipped by a Cardinal defenseman.
They're going to call it over and back.
Nope, apparently not. Calvert Hall ball on a turnover. A backcourt violation, very similar to what happens in basketball. Once an offensive team has cleared the ball in the 20 seconds that they're allowed, anything that comes back over the midline after that initial 20 seconds would be considered backcourt.
Olin Hoffman, number 50 in the game. Jack Sawyer, top center. He's going to get it to Hoffman. Hoffman with a long run at Logan Santos. Gets a little bit of space. Rolls back for his right hand and stings it.
Just one of those days for Calvert Hall.
They really can't do a lot wrong right now.
Great play by Hoffman. Drives hard left-handed, just plants his foot, turns, steps, and sticks this thing up into the corner. Watch, he drops his stick just a little bit, which typically means a goalie's going down. Grant just bent over a little bit thinking it's going low, and he elevated that thing up into the far corner.
Nice little ping sound on that one. Got the Calvert Hall bench fired up.
That is the voice of Dan Aburn from Inside Lacrosse, the third member of our broadcast crew, here on the FCA Lacrosse MIAA Game of the Week. Daniel Kelly now gets it, and this is Weber. Clock under 3.5 to go here, first half.
St. Paul's back playing man.
Underneath the viewfinder.
And Calvert Hall also showing their depth. Nice save by Jamie Grant, goaltender for St. Paul's. His pass is deflected. Again, Calvert Hall known for their ride, something they've had all the way back since the JT Bugliosi, Patrick Kelly days. Crusaders find a way to get it out. Looked like Harry wanted a shot there. He'll get it to Milani. Milani minded by Parker Bird. Bird, a UNC commit. Calvert Hall also without the services of Michael McNally. Knee injury early in the year put him out. Michael McNally, an Ohio State commit. Connor Slang shot goes wide, and that is going to be Calvert Hall ball. They don't do much wrong.
Even the ball bounces their way occasionally. That was a good shot. I think Marshall got a piece of that, and he deflected it right back, almost directly behind his goal, and he and his defenseman ended up being the closest guys. St. Paul's had that backed up, but it just went a little bit closer to the two Calvert Hall players that were chasing that out of bounds. Good defense by Woodward. Great approach. Didn't overplay Mitchell in that play. Talk about approaching the ball as being a very huge part of any defenseman's arsenal, if you will. You cannot overextend when you're approaching the ball. You must come out under control, but make sure you're there. Beautiful play by the Cardinals. Again, we've seen a lot of these. Great offense. There's Sawyer Off a nice feed by Grant Mitchell. He draws a lot of attention. Oh, excuse me, I apologize. That was Sawyer to Mitchell, excuse me. St. Paul's looking around. It looks like they've got somebody's got beat. Woodward slides, leaves Mitchell alone, no help on the inside. Another goal for the Cardinals. So what's this quarter, Dan Aburn? 5-2.
5-2, I'd make it.
And a face-off win for Calvert Hall by Ham McPartland. His dad, Wayne McPartland.
I think that's the third Calvert Hall guy to take a face-off.
McPartland faced off a lot for Calvert Hall last year. I think Catoni and Dunn for the Cardinals have done an outstanding job this year, and McPartland's just, you know, he's the third guy out of two quality guys ahead of him. I mean, he is terrific at the job as well. They just keep him rolling at you. St. Paul's like to borrow just one of those three guys.
Yeah.
Just one. Let us borrow one today. We're down a couple face-off guys. Coach, can we borrow one?
Yeah, Ham McPartland. There we see
Weber
just accelerating.
He is so fast. I don't know, I don't have the Calvert Hall 40-yard dash, but I'd like to think this guy has to be one of the fastest players on their team. We've seen him do that a number of times where he just runs by people. He is off to the races. And then when you throw that great speed with a couple nice moves in there.
Yeah, great stick.
Reminiscent of sophomore at Syracuse University, Calvert Hall alum.
Brendan Kelly?
No, Brendan
Curry. Sorry. It's not like we have an attitude. The Kelly name's on my mind right now for the 4 goals that Daniel has. Mick's been in there. We might get a chance to see J.K. Kelly.
That'll be a foul. That's a push from behind. Bartholomew's hustling, but he ran that guy over from behind. So they're going to get a 30-second extra man. Again, Calvert Hall. Coach Kelly, he's not going to be able to play his guys, I think, for very long in the second half, if at all, quite honestly.
Yep.
This game is way, way out of control. I know Coach Kelly doesn't want to, he's on pace to score 30 goals. He doesn't want to do that. He wouldn't want to do that to anybody, much less Trey Whitty, who happens to be the son of Bill Whitty, who is a Calvert Hall alum. Calvert Hall's just going to hold this so they can start the second half with possession of the ball. Dan, good luck down there with Coach Kelly.
I'm sure he is going to be furious. 15-2. Coach Kelly will join us momentarily as you see the look of the St. Paul's coaches. But let's jump down to Inside Lacrosse's Dan Aburn, who is standing by with Coach Kelly, and they have a rather nice lead. Dan, what do you got from Coach?
Here on the field with Coach Kelly. Coach, short turnaround for you guys when you come out and have that 9-0 first quarter. What did you make of it?
Well, I mean, we were winning the face-offs and we had the ball a lot. They're a great team, and I just think we couldn't have played any better. We're preparing for people, shutting guys, junking it up. So I felt like our guys knew what to do when they were doing that type of stuff. So, they handled it well and they did a great job executing.
And in particular, your offense, what did they do really effectively?
Well, I mean, we're gifted in the midfield. We got some guys that are big, strong kids, and, you have to slide to them, and if not, they can get it down the alley. So we have different looks that we can get to depending on what, where you're leaving from or so forth. So our kids, we work on it a lot, and they recognize it, and they've done a good job.
Any areas of improvement you'd like to see in the second half?
Obviously, I don't know. I mean, we couldn't have played a better half of lacrosse, honestly. I think we played as good a lacrosse as we played all year. So, I really don't think there's much better than you can do when you play a team as good as St. Paul's to be, ahead as much at halftime. But there's still a lot of lacrosse left. They're going to keep fighting, and Trey's a phenomenal coach, and they're very talented, and these kids will battle back.
There it is. Thank you, Coach.
The Kelly and Associates, Coach Ketchup. And that's one of the easier interviews Dan Aburn has had to do. 15-2, we'll be back with more halftime right after this. We are back at halftime where we got highlights and stats, and it's going to be a lot of Calvert Hall highlights. It's time to appreciate what could very well be the number one team in the country. Bob, here's Sunderland.
First goal, Sunderland on a shorty from behind. He just gets right above the goal line extended, and as Dan alluded to, he's threading the needle. He doesn't have too much angle there. Looks like Joey Epstein from Hopkins. Calvert Hall, feed. That was against St. Paul's zone there. Stewart made a nice cut and an appropriate feed. There's a great backup by Sunderland, a lost start in the game of lacrosse. St. Paul's defense is thinking that ball's going out of bounds. He catches it, and he just beats St. Paul's to the spot. Daniel Kelly's about to get on a roll here. That's just a step down from Herbert. There's Catoni off a face-off. Right-handed facing off, you have to. He switches it to his strong left hand. Here's Sawyer on an unsettled where they just broke up a clear. I think that's number 6. I'm losing count. I have struggled to get up this high. This is Daniel Kelly from his favorite spot. I think there's an X out there that has his name on it. He loves it down there. Here's Weber, great feed over to Daniel Kelly. He stepped off the crease left-handed, stuck that right on Grant's hip. That's like number 7 or 8. Here's Herbert, a wonderful assist guy. There's a pick. Calvert Hall Midi comes in and picks for Daniel Kelly, who was standing on the crease. We call that the Mumbo pick. And if I'm not mistaken, then the Crusaders to start the second quarter. That's Higgins coming right down the middle of the field. Gets his hand free. It doesn't take Calvert Hall very long to sort of match that goal. Sunderland from behind. Great ball movement from the strong side of the field to the weak side. Good effective cut by Sawyer into the middle of the field. Nice feed, good catch, good finish. And then here's the Crusaders on another one. Brendan Knott right here just keeps driving to the goal. Nobody picks him up. He steps down and gives St. Paul's a little life there in the second quarter, but it really honestly doesn't last too long. Herbert with another assist inside the Sawyer, and this is a great play by Huffman. Drives hard left-handed, watch, plants his feet, turns back and sticks it right up into the corner. And here we are with, I believe this is their last goal. This is Sawyer on the ball. He finds Grant Mitchell, the big imposing guy, 6'1", 200 pounds, in the middle of the field, and Weber showing some amazing speed.
Weber just has speed for days. We got stats for days. When we come back, see what St. Paul's has in store for the second half for all of you on the FCA Lacrosse MIAA Game of the Week. we are set to come back for the second half. Now, Bob, we coached a long time. You coached a little bit longer than I have. But I'll tell you, I was coaching McDonough, and we were down 7-1 at halftime to Haverford School. And we hadn't done a thing right. And we went into halftime, and I told the assistant coaches, if you can't say something positive that we've done well, I'd prefer if you didn't speak to the team. And we were down 7-1. What's your philosophy as you look at these stats? What's your philosophy on that?
I'm not built the same way as you are. I might be harping on a lot of the negatives, especially if I don't feel or I didn't feel that the team was working as hard as they could, and they were continuing to make the same mistakes. Honestly, St. Paul's can't be, Coach Woody can't be that upset. His team's playing hard. They're fighting. However, they're just into a buzzsaw. Calvert Hall is on their game.
6 assisted goals, and they're now going to start the second half on the man advantage.
Yeah, they had that push call right before halftime. They've got about 18 seconds, 20 seconds on this man up to see if they can't notch their 16th goal. It'll be interesting to see how Coach Kelly handles this second half. Right now, he's got his starters in defensively. He's obviously got his starting extra man offense. They haven't had too much of a chance today. They did throw this ball out of bounds. Coach Kelly will not be happy about that.
Chad Vasquenza will bring it in up. He's going to relinquish it over to Jack Wyatt. Just a junior. Wyatt now running into a double team. Finds a way to eke up the sideline. No, he doesn't. And they turn it over.
Well, you never want to allow the sideline to be another defender, if you will. And Wyatt at that time absolutely tried to go up a place where he didn't have very much room. And Kelly, who is a great rider,
and
pushed him out of bounds.
St. Paul's has killed off the penalty. As we're back to full strength, 6-on-6 at this end of the field. This is Connor Mitchell.
This is a great battle, Mitchell against Santos. Santos can run with anybody. He gives up a little size to Mitchell, but certainly not any athleticism.
Sawyer, again, one of those guys who truly impressed in that Under Armour All-American callback game. Really made a name for himself, made the team.
On a shorty. They used that little pick game down below, and a shorty jumped off and switched. Sawyer beat the shorty to the spot. Calvert Hall closest to the ball when it went out of bounds, so they will keep possession.
Here's Cole Herbert. Hard to fathom. Cole Herbert is just a junior, as we see some bodies colliding in the middle of the field.
That's a good call, I believe. The FAR official called Kelly for pushing off. He drove his body into the St. Paul's defensive mid. He was just holding his ground. He knocked him over.
Noah Chismar, number 33 for St. Paul's, will restart it. He was ready to
stop and then go. And Chismar tried to get a running head start. St. Paul's needs to spread out a little bit down there.
And they get the clear in a tidy little pass. Rory Jones, and he gets it taken right away by Connor Mitchell, who stumbles in the middle of the field. Gets a shot off. Post Malone. Ball bounced high in the air. Now in the stick of St. Paul's for a moment. But Cole Herbert ladles it down. Shot. And a great save by Jamie Grant. He's got to feel better about that. He and Mason Woodward play some pass here. Goal line extended. Now they're going to get it to Santos. And here is going to be a shot at the speed. Ooh, he passed it. I was so ready for him to just run that. And here's Santos.
Settle down a little bit, St. Paul's.
Seth Higgins now behind.
Take a little time. Get your offense set up. Higgins comes around. It looked almost like Calvert Hall had dropped into a zone there. Higgins got in between those two defensemen and uncorked a reasonably good shot with his offhand.
Jones up top. And this is Santos. Long stick on him. He glides past the long stick. Dive shot. Goal. And they're going to call it a goal. I was sure they were, but they didn't make very deliberate signals.
Looks like Santos does the right thing when he dives here. He dives to the front of the goal. He doesn't dive at the goal. He got pushed. The flag was for that push. Ball's into the goal before he hits the crease, so this guy counts.
Santos just has a gear that a lot of folks don't have.
It's the first opportunity Santos has had to show his athleticism, and we've seen him score a couple goals around the crease, showing, you know, the ability to avoid going forward and hitting the goalie with his body, diving up the crease or, you know, down behind the goal as opposed to into the goal mouth.
Collins, Stewart, Grant Mitchell, and Josh Weber, the offensive midfielders for Calvert Hall. Here's Weber. Right to left split. Alley shot well wide. Backed up by Sunderland. All the way up top with Mitchell. Stutters inside. Feed ball. Skitters towards goaltender Jamie Grant. He collects it. And rolls away from the pressure, but he's still in a bit of a beehive over there. Nice cross-field look. And here comes Liechtenstein.
St. Paul's likes to run it when given the opportunity.
Milani doubled, survives. Barthelme can't find it. Ball.
Great slide by number 41, Ryan. Nice slide. Put the ball on the ground. Calvert Hall has it back on offense.
Seeing a lot more patience from Calvert Hall offensively in the second half so far. I was talking to the statistician here, Pat Lavelle. He said they shot 45% in that first half, Calvert Hall.
That's as good as you're going to hope for.
He said, is that good? I was like, yes.
What do I keep hearing, Dan? You guys at Inside Lacrosse talking about shooting percentage at the college level, and Penn State shoots at about 41, 42, which is apparently unheard of at the college level.
Yep, they're usually 30 or 35 as the best teams in the country.
Unheard of, and here's a high school team shooting at 45.
I'm sure manager Scotty McShane was helping out with some of those statistics. Pass goes awry, and this will be St. Paul's possession on the over and back. Barthelme, little open field. Here's Milani. Stutterceps tries to get to the top.
Calvert Hall's offense is not in the same sync they were in the first half. Honestly, right now, if I'm Coach Kelly, you know what I do? I take them all out and put the other guys in and see what they got. He's not worried about...
Like they should have called something, but it was to the body. It's a contact sport. Barthelme now isolated behind. Kilcoyne on him. Rolls back for his dominant right hand. Slide comes, double shot goal. Troy Barthelme. How you like me now?
That's just a grown man goal.
That's a great
Well, he is a grown man at about, what, 6'4", Dan? Just muscles this. He gets above the goal line extended, is able to just turn and bounce that ball. It looked like
knuckleball.
Well, it's hard to pick up anytime somebody that's tall, whether it's a 5'10" defenseman with his pole, he's tall. You know, Barthelme's already tall, so he's shooting from a spot that most goaltenders aren't used to seeing kids shoot from, especially somebody as big and as tall as Barthelme.
Brian King, number 17, a sophomore for Calvert Hall, doing a nice job on wings, on faceoffs right now. He's great on wings. He's no Aiden Fritz, but he's very good on wings.
With this midfield, they run Mincer in with his midfield, and he goes behind, takes a shorty behind the goal with him, and that just, it's a little unusual for a short stick defensive mid to have to play somebody behind, so defense is a little bit out of sync.
Here's Herbert. Right to right, hesitation. Now Sawyer over to Mitchell. Behind, and it's now Sunderland. Calvert Hall content to work it around with 30 seconds on the shot clock. Middle of the field shot. Jamie Grant goes downstairs to slam the door on that one.
Jamie Grant's having a great referee, didn't give them the ball at the midline. Interference with Jamie Grant, but fortunately that pass went through.
Nice play on the midfield line right there. Connor Slane. A little bit of a step shot.
St. Paul's likes to go, and if you're not set up defensively, they'll keep pushing it. They score a lot of, I call a lot of those goals free goals. They'll love to score in transition.
Ooh, nice handle by Slane. Now he's behind. Draws the slide, moves it quickly. Now they throw it backside. Tyler Harry shot. Jackson Marshall punches that one to the sky and lobs it up nicely. This is Cole Herbert at stride. Jack Sawyer. Let's take a look at that save again. Rolls back. They get a feed up top. Bartholomew. And Jackson Marshall doing his job. Shot by Kelly goes wide.
Great play by Colin Stewart. Drew a man and threw it back to where the double came from to Kelly. Kelly missed the goal.
Sunderland accelerating from behind. Colin Stewart, number 0, flips it off. Nice hesitation moving.
Great save, Grant. He's really playing well. But there's Calvert Hall effectively riding. Good play by Brendan not to step into that passing lane.
Tyler Harry has a guy break his stick on him. They have a man open in front, but they opt to maintain possession. This is Milani. I like Milani's game. You know, it's tough to say that when they're down 15-4, but this is a St. Paul's team that came in with the number 2 ranking and for all the right reasons.
Good match for the Cruces. Higgins on a shorty. Calvert Hall be quick to slide. He makes a bad pass. Not handled. Out of bounds.
Calvert Hall clearing it. Sawyer comes up with a loose ball at midfield and accelerates to freedom just in the nick of time before they got a failure to advance call. Again, 20 seconds to get the ball out of your defensive half of the field. Booker Corrigan, Bob Shriver, Dan Aburn bringing in the call. And it's Jamie Grant making another save for St. Paul's. He has been called upon early and often. Bob, I know you have some other scores for us.
Well, maybe the biggest development so far today would be it appears that Boys Latin down at Spalding today is losing by 3 goals late in the 3rd quarter. And that is clearly a big development. Spalding has struggled this year with 1 win under their belt in the league so far. It would be a big upset on paper. A lot of people don't know, or they're not aware that Spalding's JV won the MIAA championship last year, and that is usually a harbinger if you got some quality kids, younger kids in your program, and they're playing up to that today. I watched their JV play yesterday at Boys Latin, and they
Brian Phipps
and Coach Brian Farrell, best friends, played at Maryland together. That will not go over well. Beautiful offense by Calvert Hall, just moving the ball around, and Sawyer has been incredibly effective on the inside, just moving without the ball. Scored quite a few goals from in there today already. Almost knotted another one. Calvert Hall's had good shots here.
Yep.
Two things have happened. They've missed a goal a bunch, and then when they've been on goal, Grant has been up to the task and has had a wonderful second half, third quarter here.
Little two-man game behind. Sawyer gets a little bit of a step. They're going to call a moving pick. And with 23 seconds to go in the quarter,
Jones could take this coast to coast. His teammates aren't.
and a whistle blows. I don't know what. I think they said he chested it.
I don't know who
And
called
now
that.
they're going to call delay down at this end. Coach Trey Whitty not thrilled, nor would I.
I'm not sure what the initial call was on Santos. And now he's going to give St. Paul's 2 penalties, one for sideline, I think.
It's going to be a conduct foul on the St. Paul's bench, on the coaching staff.
And they had every reason to react, but you just want to try and maintain your reactions. But Coach Trey Whitty, I'm feeling what you're putting down. Logan Santos has a couple bruises from the ride attempt.
Calvert Hall, are they going to elect to hold this again? No, they're going to the goal.
Low to high shot by Mitchell.
Now I think they'll hold on to it. There's 6 seconds left. Coach Kelly, keep possession to go into the fourth quarter with the ball and an extra man offense.
And St. Paul's doing the right thing, coming out, giving a little bit of pressure just to see if they can carry it and hold it. And they certainly do, and Calvert Hall will start the fourth quarter.
Calvert Hall
on the man advantage.
Sorry, scoreless in that quarter. St. Paul's not at 2 goals. This is clearly the quarter that Coach Whitty was hoping they would start the game with.
Coach Brian Kelly, the #1 team, perhaps in all the land, Bob. They lost one game very, very early to Hill Academy. And they've distanced themselves from some teams in the best, most competitive league in the country.
They have. I did a couple games, high school games this weekend up on Long Island, Booker. I saw some talented teams play lacrosse this weekend. And then they flashed the top 25 high schools. Salisbury, Culver, Haverford, Calvert Hall is absolutely in the mix, but they've got a lot of really good teams ranked just a little bit above them right now. And that might be as much a product of the balance in the MIAA after Calvert Hall.
Yeah, because everybody's beating each other, so it seems like they're not that good. But it really is a balanced league where you have St. Mary's. Oh, and a shot, a goal, and a hit. The referee's doing the right thing by calling the foul. They don't want things to get out of control. Grant Mitchell with the goal. Sunderland with the assist. Bob, take us through this highlight.
Well, it's a great feed. Mitchell's just planting his big body, right-handed, beautiful shot up into the goal. It's a late hit, so Calvert Hall will stay on the extra end as the referee deemed that was a late hit, so it's post-whistle foul, so they don't have to face off. Calvert Hall will start with the ball at the midline, extra, for a full minute.
And we are now going the other way.
And now the referee is deeming that a Calvert Hall lacrosse player made some sort of an infraction. And now he's going to the referee's going to award the ball to St. Paul's. Well, he called a penalty, although, yeah, we're playing 5-on-5. He called a penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. It would appear, as we are 5-on-5 against Calvert Hall, but I don't see any Calvert Hall player in the penalty box. So I think they could put another player on the field.
I don't see anyone in the box.
And there's no penalty up on the scoreboard?
I'm just as confused.
Yeah.
Look, here we
Procedural
go.
violation.
Yeah, here
There
comes
you go.
Herbert. He can be on the field.
Just a little bit of a miscommunication, it would seem.
Milani drives right, he rolls back.
Well, they are still extra Calvert Hall. They're electing not to double the ball. Herbert standing inside. He will slide if a Calvert Hall man gets beat. He's the slide guy in this package, which is a very good move, quite honestly. How many times you see somebody double team the ball and it just doesn't work because the guy holding the ball is too fast. I don't know why Bartholomew would feed that. They're down a man. There's still 16 seconds on the penalty. Push against Calvert Hall, so St. Paul's will keep the ball.
Now, let me ask you this, Bob. You see Cole Herbert, obviously one of the top offensive midfielders in the country. He's playing defense. Is that a tribute to his defensive and full fieldness?
Well, it looked like, just standing down here looking at the Calvert Hall sideline, that he was the closest guy, closest guy to the sideline there, and he recognized that they needed another guy. He stepped on the field.
But he's been down on that defensive end more than most offensive middies.
Well, you wouldn't mind looking up, if you're Calvert Hall's Coach Kelly, and seeing Cole Herbert playing defense at 6'1", 195, 200 pounds. New goalie in the game for Calvert Hall. Nice save by number 32.
Luke Downs coming in. Lobs it high up and over. And here is Cole Herbert.
Coach Kelly has subbed one attackman into the game. He's kept Daniel Kelly and Truett Sunderland in the game, 2 starters. And he's running his second midfield, which would be a first midfield on any other team anywhere.
Yeah. Crossfield feed as we see number 19, Griffin Ackley, the senior attackman, getting some time. And here comes my main man, Aiden Fritz, number 16. Sweeping across. You see him there in the center of your screen, ladies and gentlemen. That is Aiden Fritz. And he is now on ball. Aiden Fritz on ball. What a pass.
Sheehan threaded that thing up the field through 3 or 4 sticks.
That is threading a needle. Milani, minded by Parker Bird. Now it's Barthelme. Rory Jones, number 2 in. And this is Sheehan. Sheehan stutter steps, gets his left. Shot high to high, and Downs makes the save.
We got 2 new players on attack coming in for Calvert Hall here.
Number 11 on the field for Calvert Hall, Sean Ketchen, and who's that on the far side? I can't see that. Oh, that's 9.
Justin Minster.
Justin Minster, who gets some run with the first midfield group. He'll run behind the goal with them when he comes on the field. So he's okay. He's been on the field a bunch.
Justin Ray comes in. And Mason Woodward makes a nice play on the pass.
It's going to be a push, clearly from behind. St. Paul's will get an extra man offense.
St. Paul's looking to add to their 4-goal total. I think my ride's here, Bob. Yeah, my ride's pulling up right now. They're going to have to wait a little bit. Here's a replay of the foul. Great ground ball pickup by Slane. There you see one high hit and then another one. Oof.
I believe that's going to be called on Jordan Ray.
He got away with 30 seconds on it.
Actually, they put 16 in the
Put
box.
my man Aiden Fritz in the box. I didn't see him in there.
Well,
that's not his style. He's more of a lover than a fighter.
Well, that wasn't his foul, and quite honestly, the penalty clock should not run because the man whose infraction it was on isn't in the penalty box.
You love those rules.
Well, that's the rule. That's the rule of the game. So,
turnover by St. Paul's on their man up, and here is Downs. Sam Vito, another Calvert Hall guy who does a great job. Of course, my man Michael McNelly out for the year with a torn ACL.
Woodward creating some havoc. That's
and that is failure to advance. Referees right on it.
We looked up at the clock. Excuse me, the shot clock down to 59. It's a turnover.
Tyler Harry shot goal. He found the corner. And with 6:34 to go in the 4th.
That was a great move by Tyler Harry. Watch. Inside roll. Good defense by Barwick. He's pushing him behind the goal. Downs probably guilty of giving up a little too soon on his post. He steps out and allows Harry to throw that ball into the far corner.
Number 51, J.K. Kelly on the wing of the field. That speed, there is 51 as the ball skitters around towards him, and here's J.K. Kelly. Rolls away from pressure perfectly, just a freshman, and he hits Kilcoyne in stride. J.K. Kelly doing a nice job for Calvert Hall right there. And Calvert Hall looks like they're appropriately taking their foot off the gas. Ryan Vermillion, number 7 in the game. Close friends with Scotty Dirt McShane, that's for sure. Here's Vermillion, top center. The RV gets it over to Eckert. Jamie Grant goes across his body. And Bob, there's an example. You talked earlier about goalies having to choose whether to go across or under. In that instance, it's a 17-yard shot. He can make that decision quite easily.
Correct. As he did, he made that look easy, didn't he?
And if we can run that back even later on, guys, that'd be fantastic. Just to teach that decision-making of do you go under or do you go over. Here's a clear example of when you have that time. What a luxury for Jamie Grant right there. Here is Milani. Now it's Barthelme. Inside roll, double team. Ball goes on the turf. Calvert Hall is playing a little bit of a man down right there. Shot goes wide.
Well, it's a great opportunity for some of these guys that don't play all the time for Calvert Hall to get out there and show Coach Kelly that they're capable of playing the same level of lacrosse that the guys that are now on the bench have played. Good play by Milani. He draws a slide. Barthelme slips down the backside. Easy feed, easy score for St. Paul's. Watch Milani.
Acceleration right there, and then he's got the wherewithal.
Well, he's got 3 guys on him at that point in time, so clearly Barthelme recognizes his man sliding across the crease. He cuts down the backside. Beautiful pass, beautiful finish, nice goal.
Great play.
How's that St. Paul sideline doing, Dan?
Candidly, they're pretty quiet.
Yeah. Another face-off win for the Cardinals. Nice play by Seth Ketchen. This is Ray. Pumps it down the side. Now it's behind. Sean Ketchen. Double comes quickly. Inside feed. Shot popped in the air. Little can of corn for Jamie Grant. Here's Mason Woodward. Tyler Harry carries across the top for the Crusaders. Looks to flip to Sheehan. Flips to Jones.
Sheehan wants his left.
Jones inside feed. Barthelme drilled to the ground. And we will get a foul.
He's going to call a push, 30-second push. Jones trying to make something out of nothing there, but he threw it into Barthelme, and the big, strong attackman for St. Paul's handled that ball in traffic and got run over from behind. Extra man for the Crusaders.
Here are the Crusaders. Milani pump fakes, pushes it. Jones. Calvert Hall just clogging up the middle. Harry pump fakes. They're looking diagonal. Barthelme wants it on the far side. And a nice save by Downs. Lob pass tipped. And
nice try, actually. St. Calvert Hall got out really nicely there. Kai Sasaki trying to find Barwick. And they'd have had a fast break. He's guilty of throwing just a little bit behind Barwick.
We will step away momentarily, but don't go anywhere.
August Getz came from Germany. Bought a chewing gum company. World War II happened. No more chicle. Began making caramels filled with creams, aka bullseyes. Bright idea. Stretch a caramel cream into a stick and call it cowtails. Tails like fairy tales. Put them in cups. Became #1 selling 25-cent item. Added flavors. Started making minis. Added different pack types. Still family owned. Loved for generations by generations. GetSome.com.
fourth quarter wrapping up. 2:39 to go. The RAV4 bringing to the fourth quarter of the FCA MIAA Lacrosse game of the week. And, of course, presented by Kelly & Associates. Huge thank you to all of our sponsors. St. Paul's using a timeout right there to kind of collect themselves wise. Crusaders get the clear. And here's Santos. Goes with a hitch move, and now jitterbugs. Gets back to his right side. Shot goes out of bounds.
Well, he rolled back in to where the defender was. There was nothing there for him. Higgins on a shorty. Higgins likes this matchup.
Milani,
good slide.
Double teams happen so quickly. He gets a diagonal pass off, and they're unable to capitalize. This is Jones. Gets it up to Milani. Pick for Milani. He gets through. And Downs gathers the ball that skittered into the box. And just like that, Calvert Hall back on offense. This is Ketchum. Sean.
St. Paul's offsides, flag down.
Kyle Eckert, number 48, gets up to Ryan Vermillion. And here is Vermillion, son of the great Greg Vermillion and Jackie Vermillion. And Calvert Hall looking like they might be able to just run out the clock. Double comes from St. Paul's. Vermillion makes a nice play on the loose ball, and now we will learn of the foul.
Well, they were offside, so that double really, it looks like they're playing great defense. St. Paul's had an extra man because they were offside, so Calvert Hall be able to finish this off. I don't know what Coach Kelly's going to do. I think he's going to give these guys who haven't played much an opportunity to play this 30-second penalty. Move the ball around and see if they can't notch something. No, they seem intent on just holding the ball. Hey, St. Paul's played a really good second half, especially goaltender Jamie Grant, who had a terrific second half, and they held Calvert Hall to 1 goal. The scoreboard obviously can't reflect that. The game was over at halftime, but give St. Paul's credit. They battled hard in the second half. Grant had a tremendous second half and kept them basically off the scoreboard, giving up 1 goal for the entire 24 minutes.
And there is a good shot at Jamie Grant. Logan Santos comes out of the box, and there's that glide I was talking about. He just has an ability to run that I find rather impressive. Milani behind the back. Santos gets a piece of it, and for that he gets maximum lumber, and that will do it. Thrilled to have a chance to have Dan Aburn catch up with our player of the game. St. Paul's, where do they go from here, Bob?
Sure, who St. Paul's plays Friday. I know they finished the year next Tuesday at home against Boys Latin, and with Boys Latin looking like they're going down to Spalding in Severna Park, Glen Burnie area, it would mean that for Boys Latin's, from Boys Latin's perspective, that game, their game Saturday that we're doing against Gilman, it becomes a huge, huge event for certainly both teams, but Boys Latin now is being put in a position where they're fighting for their playoff lives.
As is McDonough, as is Loyola. And Gilman kind of is also. We got a great end of the season coming. St. Paul's. Is this one where you burn the film? And Bob, we'll talk about this when we come back, but I'm more inclined to watch it, learn from it, And make sure you don't forget that it ever happened. 16-6 your final. We'll be back with some post-game festivities right after this.
It's time to go Toyota. With a great selection of rugged four-wheel drive and year-round all-wheel drive vehicles, including the completely redesigned adventure-ready RAV4, or any of these 9 models built to help you feel more secure no matter what the weather brings. Plus, advanced safety features come standard on most models. Learn more and shop deals on buyatoyota.com. See your Toyota dealer, your four-wheel and all-wheel drive specialist. Toyota, let's go places.
Top coaches ready to select the best high school underclass lacrosse teams in the country. Can you make the cut? The Under Armour All-American Underclass Tryouts have become the premier lacrosse exposure showcase in the entire sport. Exhibit your skills to top D1, 2, and 3 coaches and compete against the top talent in your region. Push yourself, shape your future, rep your region. Visit UnderArmourLacrosse.com now and register. Let's go down to field side. Dan Aburn's got our player of the game.
Down on the field here with Jack Sawyer, our player of the game. Jack, first question I'll ask you is 9-0 first quarter. What was it like to just have that start for you guys?
I think coming out fast helped us a lot. I mean, kind of if you come out fast, get a couple goals on the board, starts building up. Our defense was playing amazing, and that kind of helped us going on offense. And with that, I mean, having that big lead in the first quarter just helped us a lot going through.
And just in particular on offense, what did you feel like you guys really did well?
I mean, like Coach Kelly's preached all year, just off-ball movement, ball movement, and player movement. I mean, if we do that, we look really good, and I think if we keep rolling with that, our offense is going to keep clicking like we have been.
And how nice was it to get some of the members of the third midfield and guys on your bench into this game?
It's awesome. I mean, those kids help out our starting defense every single practice. They go hard every single day, and I mean, that's what makes our defense as good as they are, and getting them into the game means a lot for the team because they work so hard in practice just like everyone else does.
And with this victory, you guys are solidly in first place in the MIAA. How does that feel?
It's awesome, but we just got to keep rolling in one game at a time and keep on going forward.
Jack, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Great to hear the appreciation of his teammates by Jack Sawyer, and of course Dan Aburn always doing a great job. Glad to have him part of the broadcast from Inside Lacrosse. Bob, let's talk a little bit about takeaways and what you felt was going to happen now that we've seen these two teams compete.
Calvert Hall, clearly, as you said 2 seconds ago, is the #1 group in the MIAA. They've handled all comers. They've played extremely well. They handled Gilman last Saturday at Gilman in front of a big Gilman alumni.
Yep.
Weekend festivities and alumni support. They took care of business today at 9-0 at the end of the first quarter. The game is over. Yep. Although, the second half, let's go back and give St. Paul some credit. They handled the second half really well.
Let's look at some highlights from earlier. This is Sunderland.
First goal, he was on a shorty there, and he just got his stick out in front of the goal line extended and shot it over goalie Jamie Grant's head.
Inside.
Against the zone. A nice little fake, actually. Sunderland faked like he was going to pass it to the wing and found the open man on the crease. just a great play. I think it's a lost art in the game of lacrosse, backing up the goal. Sunderland backs that goal up effectively. Defense doesn't realize he has it. Herbert to Kelly. Kelly, that spot right there at around that 12-yard, 13-yard hash mark, Kelly likes Catoni off a face-off. Nobody slides to him. Nobody typically slides to him. Face-off guy. There's Sawyer off a great ride at the other end of the field. One of the reasons Sawyer was a player of the game, he put the ball in the back of the net consistently. Kelly again from one of his favorite spots, and a nice celebration. Here goes Weber again over to Kelly. Look at the placement of that shot, hip high, virtually impossible to stop, especially with the pace. Herbert, a really nice feed to Kelly again. That's Kelly stepping off a pick. So Kelly's just finishing off what his teammates have helped create for him, and he's doing a wonderful job taking care of that end of the deal. Coming out of the second quarter, Higgins running down the middle of the field, St. Paul's first goal, but it doesn't take Calvert Hall long to not just sing up. Sunderland with a really good, effective play off a ball movement. That ball started on the strong side and got over to his weak side. Good feed. Sawyer without the ball. As he alluded to right there on Dan's interview, Coach Kelly talks to all those players about moving with and without the ball. St. Paul's goal, Brendan Knott coming down with his short stick as a short stick defensive mid. Nobody picks him up. He buries one.
And here's Herbert again inside to Sawyer. A connection that seems to click nicely.
What a great play but here by Huffman. I love this move. He drives hard to his left hand. Watch him plant that right foot, turn, hands free, elevated it right up into the top of the goal. Sawyer's going to find Mitchell here, Grant Mitchell. Sawyer drives hard to the goal, draws a slide. Grant Mitchell effectively realizes that his man slid, so he steps into the open area. And Weber, my Lord, what speed this kid has. Just going hard to the goal. Very hard to catch up. And that, Booker, if I'm not mistaken, was their 15th goal. They only scored one in the second half. There's Jones showing incredible athleticism, not jumping into the goal mouth and scoring, drawing a foul in the play. Bartholomew just getting his big body rolling. Steps away. Third goal. Here's the lone goal the Cardinals scored in the second half, and he drew a penalty on that. Sunderland nicely found Mitchell on the inside again. Grant Mitchell, number 10, for his second goal. Harry, goaltender, new goaltender for Calvert Hall, stepped off his pipe there. And then what a nice feed by Milani here to the backside to Bartholomew. No chance a goalie's going to make that save. And there it is, the final score. It's 16-6. Calvert Hall taking care of business.
16-6. 16-6. What a day, what a night. Calvert Hall dominant. We'll step away momentarily. We'll be back right after this.
We have come a long way. All the amazing advancements in medicine. And while science has become better at treating people, we can't ever forget the importance of how we simply treat people. At MedStar Health, we believe it doesn't take a brain surgeon to get the best way to talk to a doctor isn't always in person. And that inside every human body lives a human being. The best of our minds, the best of our hearts. MedStar Health. It's how we treat people.
It's time to go. Toyota, with the best resale value of any brand, again for the third year in a row. Because when it comes to holding value, nobody does it better than Toyota. In fact, Toyota has 3 of the top 10 ranked by KBB.com for 2019, including Tacoma at number 1. So whether you're searching for America's favorite car, SUV, or adventure-ready truck, this is where you want to shop. Go reliable, go Toyota, and let's go places.
The top coaches in the nation are getting ready to select the best high school underclass lacrosse teams in the country. Can you make the cut? The Under Armour All-American Underclass Tryouts have become the premier lacrosse exposure showcase in the entire sport. Exhibit your skills to top D1, 2, and 3 coaches and compete against the top talent in your region. Push yourself. Shape your future. Rep your region. Visit UnderArmourLacrosse.com now and register. Bob, with a minute to go, what are your thoughts and how great is Calvert Hall in your perspective?
Well, they've clearly separated themselves from the rest of the competition. I'm not sure who they play on Friday, but I do know they play Loyola next week, and it's always an exciting game. Loyola could be in a position